Hey Tony, it's Saturday. Unfortunately, yesterday I was really, really busy and I completely lost track of time. We had game last night, and with all that factored in, I didn't realize until this morning that I hadn't made my videos. So I guess I'll get a punishment from you. Um, so first off, to answer your question of the week, yeah, we've actually been meeting back in person for game for a couple weeks now, which has been pretty nice. Looking forward to it. We've been looking forward to it for a long time, and it was kind of cool to have us all get together and enjoy ourselves with our friends that we hadn't done in a real long time. So what I'm actually going to talk about are some of the events that have taken place during now that we're back in person with a lot of our stuff with a lot of our groups. Um, so first off, and arguably the most important, is the fact that my Starfinder game that's been going on for a solid year and a half now ended not this past weekend, but the weekend before I went home, and that was pretty awesome. Um, I had a couple more sessions planned, but the way the story kind of went is it was a real good logical endpoint, and I think everyone seemed to have a good time with it. Starfinder is a really neat system. I want to get even more familiar with it because there's a lot. I know there's a lot of cool stuff that I can do with it that I know I didn't really do during the my first two times running it, because the first time was kind of it was a shortish game, and the second time was a long one, but was really more of a character study and less of a here's the world collapsing around you, your heroes go do the thing. Um, and then we also got in person with our Masks games, or our Masks game, because we only have one now. Masks, you know how much we love that game, how much you enjoyed it when I ran it, and our friends John, and Antonio. Yes, we have two Johns. We've been playing Masks with them for several years now, which is kind of crazy to think. And we were really excited to get that entire group back together again. Uh, and it's a real neat theme. Remember how you were doing your superhero high school? That's what we're doing too. Except ours is not necessarily in the mold of like a Sky High necessarily or a My Hero, but it takes a lot of influence from those. The big thing is your team is not really a team. You guys are in a homeroom class, and there's 12 of you, and there are I think six players, maybe six players, and six NPCs, give or take. And it's been really interesting to see how we kind of impact each other's stories. So Taylor is playing a joined with an NPC. Taylor's character's name is Carmen. Carmen has mind control powers, but can only control people's thoughts and actions through music. She's the join to an NPC who's her boyfriend in game, known as Jeff Gemini, who's loosely based off of Kilgrave from Jessica Jones, but a less monstrous Kilgrave. Um, Jay is playing a transformed, and Jay is playing Cindy, also known as Bubblegum, who was abducted, who was aliens did experiments and turned her in.
No, she died and happened to be in the lab that an alien was in that escaped and brought her back to life.
Okay, if you didn't hear that, Cindy actually died, and an alien who was in the lab escaped and brought her back to life. And her powers are she can kind of control the consistency and the shape of herself, and is bubblegum basically. And yesterday in our session last night, Jay used Cindy used her powers to to take over a van and completely cover, which was kind of interesting. Okay, so we have that. Our friend Antonio is playing as the Mole, which was a custom class in which it's your Terra playbook from Teen Titans, in which you have a handler and your goal is basically to defeat the team, or your handler's goal is to defeat the team, and you get a lot of interesting interplay with that. Um, our friend John the Younger is our DM, and John the Elder is playing as a bull named Super Dangerous, who was abducted by aliens, had experiments done, and essentially has energy absorption. So whatever energy he absorbs, he can then use it against you. So like if he's about to get into a fight, he's like, punch me, punch me, punch me, because the force you do to him, he absorbs it and then goes and uses it in the fight. And I'm playing as a soldier. Now I'm playing as the soldier like in the way it's meant to be played. No, okay, that's not the right term, but in the way that the book kind of pushes you towards, more similar to the way that like Casey played it, in which like you are torn between what Aegis wants you to do and what you kind of believe. And it's turning into a real back and forth because one of our NPCs, who we call the American Way, whose their hero name is the American Way, is like, take every bad stereotype about the American industrial complex, military industrial complex, and put it into a character. And that's my character's direct supervisor. And so it's been interesting to kind of take an eye on that of like, because he's trying to be more of Captain America, but is kind of being pushed to be a little more U.S. agent. And it's really kind of neat in the interplay on it. But otherwise, like it's been really nice to meet back in person. I've started meeting back in person with our friend Joe as well, who's the one who's going to be running the Archult 2 game. Like I've been helping. I think I mentioned this last week. I've been helping his wife get a little more used to D&D because we're having little mini sessions of me, Joe, and his wife Abby. And we're going to actually be getting full on into those sessions here soon with Taylor and Justice's characters, which will be exciting. It's kind of weird to have so much gaming to talk about because we didn't meet for months. I mean, we met online a few times during the early parts of the pandemic, and like we met off and on with like Joe and Abby on Discord, but it's been really great to get back to in person. And obviously we had a great time when we did Field a few weeks ago. We're doing that again this next week, which will be great. So it's a sense of normalcy feels like it's returning, and I'm not sure how I feel about that yet because things aren't normal yet, but we're getting closer to the point. And you know what? Maybe this is the new normal. But Tony, my question for you is, I actually have two questions. First off, do you mind if I switch my videos to Saturday? I think Saturday might have to work out better because we don't have games on Saturday. Now we meet every other week for masks on Friday nights, but it's gonna be easier if I just do it on Saturdays. And then I can, show you all the cool hikes I do on Saturdays. So that's my first question. And my second question for you, Tony, is what were some cool stories that you told with your friends when you guys started meeting back in person? Tony, I'll see you on Monday. Later, bro.